Hey, good morning, everybody. Today is April 7th, 2026, and this is Derek Talks Real Estate, episode 3. And today we're going to talk about cash offers. We're going to talk about the different types of cash offers there are and how those cash offers can work for you, and maybe help you figure out which one's the best for you. As always, we are live, we are unscripted. So we're just going to have a conversation and we'll kind of run through things. And, 10, 15 minutes from now, we'll move on and have our normal fun day. I am this morning wearing my Auburn University quarter zip in honor of my alma mater winning the national championship for the NIT, not for the NCAA. Congratulations to Michigan on that. But I am proud of our team. Unlike a lot of teams who decided to not play in the NIT when they didn't get the NCAA tournament, we decided we weren't done. We needed to prove to ourselves that we were a good basketball team. So I love that our guys stuck it out and played and won. And so just very proud of those guys. All right. So let's talk about cash offers. So cash offers uh, are sometimes good for people, sometimes bad for people. It just depends on your situation. Just like everything else in real estate, it depends on where you're at and what you're trying to accomplish. I tell people all the time real estate is not McDonald's. There is no one size fits all, there is no one exact way to do everything. There are many multiple ways that I can help you sell your house, or another realtor who's not as good as me can help you sell your house. So make sure that you're hiring a professional that is open to all things and not just someone who is stuck in their ways of saying, well, there's only one way of doing this. Um, you need someone who is open to various different ways because we do not live in a cookie cutter world. So, therefore, all of our transactions are not cookie cutter. Um, to start off with cash offers, I'm going to start with the straight cash offers. These are the guys that come in and they just give you, hey, here's our offer on your house, take it, leave it. These guys are broken into three categories for me. You have your large brands, these are your open doors, your offer pads. Then you have your smaller local companies. I deal with a couple of companies, New Western, Smoky Mountain, Equity. These guys are the guys that are going to come in and buy your property, and they're looking more for distressed properties, whereas the larger guys are looking for a combination. It could be distressed, it could be property, it could be a distressed seller. Um, and then you have your individual cash buyers. These are just the local individuals that may come in and buy a house to flip it. They may buy a house to invest. They may buy, hold on to it for a while. These are the guys that they may own one, two, three, four properties. Um, some of these people come in and they buy them straight out, not as part of an LLC. Then you have others that have created LLCs to protect themselves and their individual portfolios. All right. So on the straight cash guy, the large brands, so the open doors, the offer pads, basically what they're going to do is they're going to come in and they're going to offer you um, a price point and say, this is what we think the home is worth. They're then going to turn around and come in and do their inspection or have you send them photos and videos, or your realtor send them photos and videos. And yes, they will work with people who have realtors. So don't think that you have to go to an open door and offer pad by yourself. I would actually recommend that you do have a realtor representing you there, but have your realtor make sure that they are not, um, how do I say this? Make sure you have your realtor actually looking out for you through this process and not just running it through to see what it is to try to still force you onto the market if the market's not where you want to be. Um, I have a good relationship or have had a good relationship over the years with Open Door. I've seen them purchase houses 78% of market. I've seen them purchase houses 110, 115% of market. Back in 22, when things were still pretty hectic in the market, my wife and I actually sold our house to Open Door, and we sold it to Open Door for probably $80,000, $90,000 more than we could have gotten on the market. Well, Open Door had bought a lot of houses that way, and they then turned around and started only buying houses in the 75, 80% value over the last few years. Right now, I'd say they're running somewhere between 85 and 92% of what you would get on the open market. And then they're on top of that adding in their fees, and they're going to ask for repair credits. Since 22 has been over, and even all the way during that COVID housing crunch, I still saw them asking for repairs, but the repairs were not as much. I saw them actually, I guess the lowest I ever saw them do was about 1,500 on a house that similar house in similar condition recently. They turned around and asked for $28,000 worth of repair credits. So just to give you an idea, that's how they're going to operate. Then you have your people like the Smoky Mountains, the New Westerns. They're the ones looking more for the distressed properties. So if you have a property that has a ton of deferred maintenance and it needs 60, 70, $80,000 worth of work, these are the guys that we can take that house to and say, hey, what can you give us on this house? What would your offer be? Now, understand they have to build their profit into that. So their offer may come in. You could see them offer on a $500,000 house. You could see them offer 350, 360. I have one right now that we are doing through them that was not going to work for any of the other companies. Once that house is updated, it's going to sell for 500 to 550, and we're probably a good 70% of that is what they're buying it for. I have seen them buy houses for 250, 260, turn around, update them, fix them up, do what needs to be done, reconfigure them, and sell them for 400. So those are the guys that you're not necessarily looking to make a ton of money off the house. You're just needing to get it sold. And if you go on the market, it's going to take you a long time to do so. So you can take it to these guys and they can make you an offer on the house. If you're good with it, take it and it sells. You're closed in 21 days. And then you have your individual guys. Again, these are the guys who may be your local flippers. I've represented some of those guys in the past where we will go and we see the value in the house when it's listed on the market. The person who's listed it knows that, hey, we're not going to get full value. So they're listing a $150,000 house for 90, or they're listing a $300,000 house for 200. And we know we go in and we see, hey, we have 40, 50, $60,000 worth of work we need to put in. So in turn, we're going to net around 40 is what they're thinking. And so they go in, they buy the house, they do the updates, and then they put it back on the market and sell it. So those are your typical little flippers that tend to do 5 to 6 transactions a year. So those are how your straight cash guys work. So understand any profit or upside on a straight cash offer is going to go into the hands of that investor. It's not going to come back to you in any way, shape, or form. So you're giving up that potential upside just to get the property sold, and you no longer have to deal with it. Now, the next type is what I call a hybrid cash offer. So these are the guys that are going to come in and upfront offer you similar to what you're going to get from a straight cash investor. The difference is they sometimes are not looking for distressed properties. They're looking for properties that are in decent shape, but are more a distressed seller. So in other words, you're getting a job transfer. You need to get the house sold. You don't want to give up the upside of your equity to the Open Door offer pad Smoky Mountain type guys, you want to figure out a way to get that upside. So you go through one of the companies like a Homeward or a Trade In Holdings or a Zoom Casa. These are the guys who basically they're going to come in and purchase your house for a percentage of what the market price is. They're going to give you that money up front. They're going to pay off your mortgage and they're going to buy the house from you. You no longer own it. So you've got a certain percentage that you're able to walk away with and move on to your next property or your next step. They then are going to turn and put the house back on the market. And when it sells, they're going to give you the difference between what they gave you up front and what the house sells for on the open market. Now, the difference in these guys, or the thing with these guys, kind of the cons to them is they control all the pricing after you sell the house to them because they own the house. So if the house sits on the market for 60, 70, 80, 90 days, which is what we're seeing in our market right now, they're going to lower the price several times. So what they told you the price is going to be and what they base their fee off of is no longer the price. So, in instance, they come in and tell you, we're going to give you $400,000. That's what we value this property at. They're going to give you a percentage of that up front. Typically, it's going to be somewhere between 75 and 80%, maybe up to 84, depending on the company. Let's go with an average of 80. That makes math easier. So, on a $400,000 house, they're going to give you 320 up front. They're then going to take their fees out of that, and their fees are typically based on that $400,000 price point. Some of their fees are range anywhere from 5% to 7% to 9%. So in this instance, what you're paying is a convenience fee. When you put the house on the market or they put the house on the market and it sells on the second side, they have to pay the agent who sold the house and then they have to pay the agent who brought the buyer. So that's going to come out of your second check. So even if you went on the open market, you're going to pay that commission. So I wash that out. Typically, what you're looking at is you're looking at getting anywhere from 90 to 93% of what you would get on the open market if you go this route. Whereas with the straight cash, you could be getting as little as 75 up to 80, 82% of what you would get on the open market, but you're not getting anything back in return. So you're going to make more money typically in the long run on the hybrid. But again, it is a little bit of a gamble because you don't know that your home's going to sell for what they value it at. So, depending on your situation, again, the hybrid may not be your best route. It could be that your best route's going on the open market, but we won't know that until we have that conversation and run those numbers. Um, the next thing that we have is the buy before you sell groups. So, these are the guys who are sort of like a bridge loan. What you're going to do is you're going to get with your agent and you're going to get yourself qualified through their buy before you sell program. And they're typically going to give you about 80 to 84% of your home's, um, what they call your home's value up front. So again, you own a $400,000 house. And again, let's use 80%. They're going to release $320,000 of your equity to you. Now, for these programs to work, you have to owe less than what they're willing to give you, right? So if you have a $400,000 house and you owe 350, one of these proper programs is not going to work for you. So let's say you have a $400,000 house and you only owe 200. So they're going to give you $320,000. What they're going to do is then pay off your $200,000 mortgage. So you don't have to worry about that counting against your debt to income ratio for your new purchase. You're then going to go find your new house and you're going to have money to put down. Now, their initial fees do come out of that 320. And their fees, depending on the company, are going to range anywhere from 2% to about 6%. And then there's no interest on them. There's no payment on them. So therefore, they do not count against your debt to income ratio when you're going to purchase a house. These programs right now are probably the most attractive as long as you can find a company that doesn't change their rules on you midstream, which is what we're seeing with some of the programs out there because the houses, again, are sitting on the market longer. So what happens is you find your house, you move into your house, they release the funds to you a day or two before you purchase your new house. We then put your house on the market, but you still own the house. So therefore, you're controlling the pricing. And with a lot of these programs, you have 90 days to get that house closed and have that bridge loan paid back. If you're not able to do it within those 90 days, you can extend it for another 90. And so you typically have around 180 days to get that house sold. And that's why I say your fees are going to be anywhere from 3%, 4%, 6%. Just depends on if you need to run into that second uh, 90 days. Some of them, when they go into the second 90 days, they do a like 1% a month hold fee. Again, every program is different. So that's why it's important that you have an agent that understands all of these programs and can go through them and explain them to you depending on the route you're taking. So for example, with me, if we decided buy before you sell is your best option, we would sit down and explore the three, four, five. I guess right now there's about five or six reputable companies out there. We would sit down and go through each one of those programs, talk to them, figure out which one's going to give you the better terms, and figure out which one's going to work best for you. So, to give you an idea, that's how those work. Um, the advantage to those is, again, you're able to find the house you want. You're not having to settle. If you put your house on the market and you go under contract and you got 45 days to close, you may end up buying a house that you don't necessarily want because you're stressed about making sure you have that new house and are able to move in before your old one closes because you don't want to rent an apartment or you don't want to deal with some temporary housing. The other thing that can come from that is, especially if you're um, selling your house first or you're buying your house first. So let's say you buy your house first and you move in, and then you turn around and need to sell your old house. Well, if it's not selling, then you could lose your purchase because you found the house you want, but you can't get it sold, or your old house sold and you need it to sell to be able to buy the new house. So this allows you to kind of bridge those gaps. Thus, they're called bridge loans. But they're not bridge loans in the fact that you're not having to pay interest and you're not having to make a payment. So I call them bridge loans on steroids, basically, just from the simple fact that they're helping you move forward and they're bridging that gap in what you need. And then your last group, and this is the group that we talked about in episode 2, where we talked about where are all the cash buyers going. These are the guys who are going to give you closest to what your home's market price is because they're planning on buying the house and renting it out for the next 5 to 10 years. Well, these are the guys that right now are not buying due to the proposed legislation. They're kind of scared about what's going to happen, where things are going. Plus, the rental market is just as tough right now as the home purchase market is. So, you have a large volume of empty rental houses sitting out there too right now, and you're seeing people having to make adjustments there. So until they can get their inventory down, until they can figure out what's going on with the legislation, a lot of these guys are not buying. But when they are buying, they are my favorite to work with because they're going to come in and give you as close to market price as you're going to get. They're also not going to charge you fees for using them. Typically with them, they're just like, hey, give us the what you were going to give on an agent commission if you were selling on the open market to a buyer agent. And in some cases, they don't even want that. So you don't have to pay the buyer agency compensation. And all you have to pay is what you're paying your agent to sell the house. So with me in that instance, instead of having to pay 6%, you're paying 3.5%. So, and again, just so you know, all commissions are negotiable. There are no set standard commissions. So that's kind of where the buy and hold groups come in, and then when they are buying, they are, in my opinion, one of the best routes to go. All right, so there you go. Those are our 4 types of cash offers. We have our straight cash, our hybrid cash, buy before you sell, and the buy and hold. If you are interested in finding out more information about these or one specific type of cash buyer, please feel free to reach out to me. You can reach me via email at derektalksrealestate@gmail.com. Derek is Derek. You can reach me at derek.blanton@redbudgroup.com. Or you can text me at 704-610-1154. I would ask, if you're going to communicate with me via text, email, as it may be, please make sure you let me know that you saw this episode, or you saw one of my blogs, Derek Talks Real Estate, and that you have a couple of questions. I do get a lot of spam during the day, and I'd hate to miss out on being able to have a conversation with you and help you figure out some things. And again, when you have a conversation with me, there's no pressure. It's just clarity. We're trying to help you figure out your best route for you. And as long as I can do that, I'm doing what I set out to do. I will also remind you, I'm only licensed in North Carolina and South Carolina. So those are the only two places I can discuss real estate with you. If you are from any other state and you need to have a conversation, do reach out to me, though. I can connect you with a realtor in your local market who I know and trust, who we can have them have this same type of conversation with you. So again, today has been April 7th, and this is Derek Talks Real Estate. Look for my blog on Substack. I put it out there on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then look for me here on Tuesdays and Thursdays on YouTube. And I look forward to getting to know you and helping you with your real estate. Take care.